Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, has said we all have the videotape, all the footage. We have, the text messages, we have the emails. We're going to see how consistent her testimony is, because I do feel like Justin needs discovery to find a lot of this evidence and have his day in court to prove a lot of it, just as Blake does. Blake doesn't have any evidence.
What if Hollywood's most beloved power couple has been hiding a devastating secret that could destroy everything they've built? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have mastered the art of appearing flawless, but explosive new allegations suggest their golden empire was constructed on the backs of exploited creators who are now ready to expose the truth. Attorney Brian Friedman isn't just taking on two celebrities, he's launching an all-out war against Hollywood's most carefully crafted facade, and the ammunition he's gathered could shatter their reputation forever. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's a calculated strike aimed at dismantling the very foundation of their multi-million-dollar empire, and the fallout threatens to expose dark secrets that could reshape how we see Hollywood's biggest stars.
Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, has said he wants to see how consistent her testimony is with the actual facts. Now, Lively's lawyer, Mike Gottlieb, the same one who served me, by the way, previously said, of course, Lively will testify in the trial, stated for next year's March 2026. Now, the date has been revealed as the discovery process continues, and Lively's lawyers served subpoenas to two publicists connecting to Baldoni who are not parties in the legal battle. She also went to many third parties, including myself. But the publicist's attorney filed a motion for extension asking for an extra week to produce documents. One email sent on July 2nd that is exhibited to the filing that Lively's depo is set for July 17th. Reps for Lively didn't respond to People's request for confirmation on the date. People's also out to Baldoni's reps. But as we all know, the accusations and the trial set for March, Lively's lawyer told People back in May, the ultimate moment for a plaintiff's story to be told is at trial. We expect that to be the case here with Lively, so we would, of course, expect her to be a witness at her trial. Of course, she's going to testify. Now, Brian Friedman has previously spoken about his plans for deposing Lively as they attempt to refute her allegations, and he told TMZ on June 10th that he was planning to do it. Asked for his strategy, he said, I'm going to ask her questions on her penalty of perjury. She's going to have to provide evidence, and she's going to have to provide the truth of the stories. We all have the videotape, all the footage. We have, the text messages, we have the emails. We're going to see how consistent her testimony is with the actual facts of what transpired. In that same interview, he said Baldoni is a person who wants to be vindicated. And that's all he cares about. He added that Baldoni knows who he is, he knows what he's done, he knows what he hasn't done, and he wants the truth to come out, and he wants that to happen in an appropriate way. Of course, that's the plan. He's waiting for his day in court where he can speak out to tell.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds embody everything Hollywood worships: wit, charm, philanthropy, Instagram-perfect family moments, and just enough self-deprecating humor to seem relatable. Their brand feels both aspirational and accessible, a delicate balance that's made them untouchable in an industry notorious for tearing down its idols. Blake, the effortless style icon and savvy entrepreneur, perfectly complements Ryan, the blockbuster king and marketing genius behind ventures like Aviation Gin. Together, they've cultivated an image so polished that fans often forget how carefully orchestrated every public moment really is. Their success seems effortless, their chemistry undeniable, their family life enviable. But that's not all. Whispers from behind the scenes suggest this flawless facade has been cracking for months, and what's underneath is far uglier than anyone imagined. Industry insiders who once praised their collaborative spirit are now speaking in hushed tones about broken promises and abandoned partnerships.
I guess Jed works for then Justin in that case, or the tag PR, etc. So does that, what are the lines? I guess define them for me.
It can't be more from a technical legal standpoint. It cannot be more than defamation. That Jed did something, said something to a third party, or published something to People that Lively is saying caused her harm. That publication to third people caused her harm. That is it. His motivation might be described as retaliatory. What he's doing can be a form of, can be described as harassment, but it's not legal harassment. It's not legal retaliation. So that's the problem. So that's why I said who's right, who's wrong. I think what you're describing is right, like the way you describe it. But from a technical legal standpoint, they're very separate.
So that's amazing. This is so helpful. I think we all needed to hear this lesson. I'm so glad you're here because this is your expertise. So Jed specifically, no, you're saying there isn't any retaliation because there's no working relationship between Jed and Blake. Even so, that's what you said, right? That would be a defamation cause. Totally get all that. Now, because Jed technically works for Tag PR, I guess, and then Tag PR is working for Justin, can that fall in line to any sort of version where Blake's then, I guess, still, Blake's not employed to that, so it doesn't matter. There's no situation where Jed is. Could you then argue that then Tag PR also not retaliating if they aren't actually working with Blake specifically?
True. There's no, from a technical legal standpoint, there cannot be a retaliation claim against Tag PR because there's no employment relationship between Tag PR and the aggrieved party who would be Lively. There's no retaliation. Now, Tag PR can be jointly liable with Jed for the defamation act, that act, right? Assuming that's proven. But there's no retaliation that Lively can claim because there's no employment relation.
It started with quiet grumblings among Hollywood's creative elite, designers, marketers, and collaborators who'd worked closely with the power couple. Initially, these complaints seemed like typical industry friction, the kind of background noise that comes with high-stakes collaborations where egos clash and expectations run high. But as more voices joined the chorus, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. Sources describe agreements that were renegotiated in bad faith, creative work that disappeared into the couple's brand machine without proper credit, and promises that evaporated once projects were complete. It gets even worse when you realize these weren't casual collaborators being pushed aside. They were the very people who built Blake's reputation as a fashion icon and elevated Ryan's Aviation Gin into a viral marketing phenomenon. These creators weren't just contributors, they were the architects of the couple's success. And now they're claiming they were systematically exploited and discarded. The testimonies paint a picture that's impossible to ignore. One anonymous creator claims they spent grueling hours developing a campaign that was later celebrated for its creativity and reach, only to watch their name disappear completely from the public narrative when accolades were handed out. A cinematographer describes a toxic working environment where their professional input was repeatedly dismissed. Creative direction shifted without warning or consultation, and blame for any delays or complications landed squarely on their shoulders. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan basked in the praise for innovative content they barely contributed to creating. Things take an unexpected turn when you learn about the graphic designer who contributed crucial visuals to Ryan's business ventures. Initially treated as family, thanked profusely, and welcomed into the inner circle, only to face payment disputes months later and be completely erased from the project's official story. What makes these allegations particularly damaging is the personal betrayal many creators describe. They weren't just business partners, they were friends who trusted the couple's promises of mutual success and long-term collaboration. Brian Friedman isn't the type of attorney who politely negotiates behind closed doors. He's the kind who kicks them wide open and drags secrets into the spotlight. With a reputation for representing Hollywood's biggest names in their most explosive disputes, his involvement signals this isn't just another contract squabble destined for quiet settlement. This is war. Early filings reportedly reference contracts, emails, and business dealings that allegedly reveal a clear pattern of creator exploitation spanning multiple projects and years of collaboration. Known for his meticulous preparation, Friedman is the type of lawyer who ensures every invoice, clause, and text message serves a strategic purpose in building an unshakable case. And here's where it gets wild. Friedman isn't just building a courtroom case. He's orchestrating a comprehensive media campaign designed to amplify every allegation and guarantee maximum public visibility. He understands that in Hollywood, reputation is everything, and once that pristine image starts to crack, it becomes nearly impossible to repair. The rebellion wasn't triggered by one explosive incident, it was a slow burn of broken promises and shattered trust that finally reached a breaking point. Sources close to multiple creators describe a systematic pattern of exploitation that began with deals involving promotional work for Aviation Gin, where promised payments were not only delayed, but later renegotiated for significantly smaller amounts. When creators pushed back, they were allegedly told to be grateful for the exposure and threatened with being blacklisted from future opportunities. Blake's meticulous attention to detail, once praised as professionalism, allegedly transformed into micromanagement nightmares, where she demanded last-minute changes, additional work, and complete creative control without offering additional compensation or credit. The reason this happened will shock you. Ryan reportedly avoided direct communication with collaborators entirely, delegating all difficult conversations to intermediaries who delivered abrupt changes, payment delays, and project cancellations without context or explanation. This created a toxic dynamic where creators never knew where they stood and were constantly walking on eggshells around the couple's ever-changing demands. Screenshots from a private group chat among multiple creators began circulating in industry circles, revealing the true scope of the alleged exploitation and coordination among victims. In these leaked messages, participants shared eerily similar stories about working with high-profile clients, including detailed accounts of their experiences with the power couple. One photographer claimed their work was used in major campaigns without proper permissions or licensing agreements, leaving them scrambling for legal protection when their images appeared in national advertisements. Another freelancer described pitching original concepts for a high-budget project, only to see those exact ideas repurposed months later without any offer of credit, compensation, or even acknowledgement of their contribution. And listen to this. Insiders suggest Friedman's team has secured breached contracts and potentially damaging emails, including one unconfirmed document that outlines specific deliverables promised to a creator that were blatantly ignored in the final project, while the couple took full credit for the innovative approach. The evidence reportedly spans multiple years and projects, suggesting this wasn't occasional oversight, but deliberate strategy. This battle extends far beyond one celebrity couple. It's rapidly becoming a litmus test for how Hollywood treats its entire creative workforce. For decades, designers, writers, production staff, and freelancers have labored in the shadows while marquee names collected all the glory, profits, and public recognition. The Blake and Ryan case has become a rallying cry for an industry-wide conversation about fair compensation and creative credit. Things get even messier from here because other A-list celebrities who've built lucrative empires on the quiet contributions of stylists, photographers, marketers, and freelancers are now frantically scrambling to review their own business practices before they face similar public scrutiny. Talent agencies are reportedly holding emergency meetings to assess potential liabilities, while publicists work overtime to shore up relationships with creative teams who might be harboring similar grievances. The ripple effects are already being felt across Hollywood, with some stars quietly reaching out to past collaborators to address lingering disputes before they explode into public scandals. For Blake and Ryan, everything they've built hangs precariously in the balance. Every brand deal, every upcoming project, every carefully constructed business venture depends entirely on maintaining their pristine public image. Blake's lifestyle ventures thrive on her relatability and authenticity. That perfect blend of aspirational polish and down-to-earth accessibility that makes consumers trust her recommendations. Ryan's commercial success relies entirely on his likable everyman appeal and reputation for clever, authentic marketing that doesn't feel forced or corporate. What came next surprised everyone. Major brands and studios, notoriously quick to distance themselves from any hint of scandal, are already quietly reassessing partnerships and contractual obligations as controversy builds around the couple. Industry sources suggest that several endorsement deals are being put on hold pending the outcome of legal proceedings, while upcoming film projects face potential delays as studios evaluate the PR risks. The financial implications could be staggering, with estimates suggesting the couple could lose tens of millions in revenue if their reputation suffers permanent damage. Attorney Brian Friedman understands this isn't just a legal fight confined to courtrooms and depositions, it's an all-out war for public perception, and he's wielding every available weapon with surgical precision. His strategy goes far beyond traditional litigation, incorporating social media campaigns, strategic media leaks, and carefully timed revelations designed to keep the story in headlines and maintain public interest. If he can successfully convince the public that Hollywood's golden couple systematically exploited the very creators who built their empire, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds won't just face financial consequences. they could become permanent symbols of everything wrong with the industry's power structure and celebrity culture. And it doesn't stop there. A decisive victory here could establish a legal precedent that even the most beloved and seemingly untouchable stars can be held accountable for their business practices, potentially triggering an industry-wide reckoning that forces systemic change in how creators are treated, compensated, and credited. The stakes have never been higher, and with each passing day, more evidence emerges and more voices join the chorus demanding justice. This isn't just about one couple anymore, it's about whether Hollywood will finally be forced to confront its long history of exploiting the creative talent that makes stardom possible.